Welcome back, Shop Rats. It's a Talk About It Tuesday, and today we're actually going to talk about It Tuesdays. It's an interesting one. Stick around. I'm Mike, and you are watching My Car Shop. I started Talk About It Tuesdays several years ago, not as filler between hands-on episodes, but literally to just slow down and take time to talk about different subjects that I think are either hot topics in the aftermarket, hot rod world, or whatever you want to call this fabrication, or just to talk about whatever happens to be on my mind, and also to talk about stuff that y'all bring up. Now, if we go back a little further, I did a lot of things like whiteboard episodes where I went through and explained engineering stuff. And up until recently, my biggest performing video on the channel was about carburetor sizing, which it actually wasn't about carburetor sizing. It was about calculating engine CFM, which is two different things. But I didn't think about it at that point at that time. And it's only been with thousands of comments and flaming criticism that I've done the video again twice and it hasn't performed like that one did. But that's okay because, people have the attention span of a gnat. In 10 seconds from now, they won't remember what they just watched anyway. Obviously, I'm being a smart aleck, but there's some truth to that. I've always said that one of the reasons I don't do many YouTube shorts is because I don't want to attract an audience that has the attention span of a gnat. I tend to do longer form content, and there's reasons for that because we delve into details and how to and so forth. And my goal is always to inspire you to try something you hadn't thought of before, or try a new technique, or go, I would never do it that way. All of it, as far as I'm concerned, is a winner chicken dinner. The reality is that Talk About It Tuesdays are where we get to dive into details of a lot of stuff that we do in the shop. I mean, we have 22 vehicles now or something like that. We've acquired a couple more if you've been paying attention. And we've got a lot of stuff going on here in the shop. And, a dozen or 13 or those or more, I don't even know how many, are project vehicles, and 2 or 3 are parts cars. And, well, there's just a lot of stuff going on. We cover a lot of ground. We do tons of fabrication. We just built a chassis for the 39 pickup that I'm building for my wife. We've been hammering hard in the Club Cabana. We've also got the Crew Cabana that we're going to be working on eventually. And there's just all kind of stuff always going on here at the channel. And that means that there's a lot of techniques and things that we drill into and show how to, but sometimes we have to step back and philosophize a little bit and talk about some theory and stuff like that. Of course, there's always something that somebody makes it in the comment or something that I read online and I go, ooh, that's a great Talk About It Tuesday. And so we'll dive into those subjects as well. There's always something to talk about. I find that it's very rare that I have a hard time finding subjects for a Talk About It Tuesday. I apologize. I just realized I forgot my microphones today, but I think the audio is pretty good. I just checked it, so we're going to move on. Anyway, so there's a lot of things we talk about that are related to the hands-on, and part of it is we don't want to just talk the talk, but we want to walk the walk, but we also don't want to just walk the walk without talking the talk. And so the two go hand in hand. And overall, the Talk About It Tuesdays have been my best performing videos. They've earned me the most money, and they get the most, not integration. Anyway, communication, engagement. Yeah, that's it. These tricky words, you know what I'm saying? They're tricky. They bring me, most of the time, the most engagement of any videos that I do. I mean, let's face it. A lot of the hands-on stuff I do is so detailed and so boring in many ways that it's hard to want to watch something for 20, 30, 40, even 50 minutes when the guy's just sitting there doing some welding and talking about suspension theory. Talk About It Tuesdays also give me a chance to just explore unique topics. Like we have actually gone for tacos on Talk About It Tuesday. We've done all kinds of other things on Talk About It Tuesday, and once in a while, we've even done some hands-on stuff, or we've done some organization. I like to try to mix it up, but I just feel that this is a great time to just share some thoughts and some perspectives and some experience and some knowledge and some stupidity probably too on my part. But there's always something to communicate. very much, if you work in the shop with me, that stuff that goes on Talk About It Tuesdays might likely be what we would do after the job is done and a cold beverage gets opened and we're sitting around bench racing and talking about stuff. I know many of you have talked about that, how you'd love to just hang out in the shop. And, that's kind of what Talk About It Tuesdays are, even though I'm out here right now wandering around my property, back in my campground and other stuff like that. I've considered what other things I might do on Tuesdays because I have no intention of ceasing the 3 episodes a week. When I was looking at doing that, what was it, a 49 Chevy 54 Chevy pickup, that's what it was. The 54 Chevy pickup project for a customer, I was going to shelve Talk About It Tuesdays to focus Tuesdays totally on the truck. Truck Tuesdays was what it was going to be, and it was going to always be every week. I was going to be hammering out work on that 54 Chevy pickup as we were putting that on that K1500 chassis. But the lady that owned the truck decided she didn't want to spend the money to get it done, and she went a different direction, and that's fine. And so we're still doing Talk About It Tuesdays. So here's the deal. I'm finally going to get to the point. I'm a very fast talker if you give me enough time to do it. I'm a very fast thinker if you give me enough time to think. Are there subjects you would like me to cover on Talk About It Tuesday? Drop it down there in the comments. I'm always open to talking about something, even if I don't have any knowledge about it. I can just make stuff up as I go. So anyway, that's what I got for you today, is to talk about It Tuesdays. And maybe next week I'll do a talk about why we're talking about Talk About It Tuesdays. And then we'll do a talk about talking about Talk About It Tuesdays. Or I don't know. Now, we'll be back into I've got a really cool Talk About It Tuesday for next Tuesday. And I didn't want to do it today because there's some hands-on stuff that I want you to see before we do that one. So that's going to do it for this one. I appreciate you being here. Like, share, and subscribe as always. Don't forget to tell other people about the channel. We have merchandise right there at mycarshop.printify.me is where you can get that stuff. T-shirts are about $25 a piece plus shipping. We have several designs. One of my favorite ones is what the heck was it? It's a subject that we talked about not too long ago. Basically being an MKS hack anyway. Can't remember the words. That's it for this one. We'll catch you on the next one. Don't forget, because it's important. Rock!